Hi, this is Luke Reichley. Welcome back to the Secrets of the Red Carpet TV chat room. We're here with Verdine White, Julia Price, and Michael Cioffoletti, here to answer your questions on style, dressing, and everything having to do with the look. What do we got, Julia?
Well, I just want to say I'm one lucky woman right now, surrounded by all of these handsome men with their own individual style. But on to the chat room. We have a question from Mariana Santos. She says, are leather jackets in right now?
Is that for me?
I guess so, because I looked right at you. So it's like the jacket guy.
She's actually very prescient on that one, because leather jackets and leather generally, especially in black, is really good for fall this season, and also again for next spring. The spring shows just happened in Italy and then in Paris and then in New York last week, and everybody showed a ton of black leather for spring, super lightweight, and showed a ton of it for this fall.
Well, leather really never goes out.
It doesn't
of style,
ever really
so
go out of style. That's
everywhere.
true. But there was a lot of it this season, and it should be easy to find at every price point on the stores right now.
Is that a staple? Should all men have a leather jacket? What do you think, Verdine?
Oh, yeah. Like Michael said, leather never goes out, and you can put leather with jeans. You can get a leather bomber jacket, which looks great as the years go on, or a leather motorcycle jacket with a turtleneck. So there's a lot of ways to go with leather. It works. It never goes out.
Head to toe, just head, just toe. All works.
And
with feral sweater. Okay, what's
anyway,
next?
tied it all in. Well, we had a question from, it's for Hawajia. I think I'm saying that right. I might be totally slaughtering it. If I am, I'm so sorry. But she wanted to know what your favorite experiences on tour were.
Oh,
I'm sure there's a lot.
There's so many. There's so many. But I'd have to say recently, one of the most favorite was the Hollywood Bowl, where we played with 83-piece orchestra, and we had 15 minutes of fireworks. We broke box office records, and we had a chance to play songs that people had never heard. And because a lot of that music was made with real strings and real instruments, so it gave us a chance to really play 41 years of music that was created. Yes.
People love playing at the bowl. A lot of artists say they love playing at the bowl.
It's just great. The ambiance is great. The atmosphere is great, and it's just a great evening. So recently that's been my favorite concert that we've done. We did 2 nights, broke box office records, and we had a great time.
Excellent.
So how much of your styling for performances is actually up to you at this point? Do you still have, like you said, you had a couple people throughout your life decide and point you in the right direction, but what about now?
Oh, now, yeah. I'm a big participant in what I wear. The stylists that I've mentioned, you know, Lewis Wells, Bernard Jacobs, we'll talk and consult and just kick it, and they'll show me things, and I'll say, I like this, let's try that. Because I have such a distinct style that when they come to me, they sort of kind of know this is where we'll start, and then we'll just keep expanding, and we'll see what works and what doesn't work. Because some things might work better for pictures than they do in a 100-degree concert.
That's
so
right.
You have to and a lot of
when you're jumping around.
That's right, because you have to figure out fabrics, you have to figure out the weight of it, you know, because I run around a lot, and you want things that are really fluid and easy to wear. And get off, too, because you have maybe 2 wardrobe changes or 3 in one night. Yes.
Well, and also the relationship between a stylist or a costume designer and the client or the actor or the artist is really a collaborative one. I mean, Michael just did a shoot for Entertainment Weekly, right, with 9 cast members.
Yeah, this week. 9 cast members from the first couple of seasons of Melrose Place.
Melrose Place.
And you know, as I said to Luke earlier, they've been doing it longer than I have. So you just sort of have to approach them with respect. They know it looks good on them in front of the camera, as I'm sure Verdine does. You know what's flattering, or know what you like to wear, what feels comfortable when you're moving around. And you know, I gave them a rack of dresses and told them to start going through and pick out the ones that they like. Yeah. Just have to make sure they're all gonna look good before you show them to them.
It's best if you can make them a participant in the process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and gone are the days when you say put this on and it works.
That only works in advertising.
No. You don't want to do that.
No, put this on just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that actually work before?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
I think in the old studio system, people wore what was given to them.
And it still works for some designers. You know, certain designers, you know, you don't mess with them, but.
Usually whatever you put on me, I'm like, I'll take it, because it looks so much better than anything I could have picked out. We have a question in the chat room.
We have time for one more? Oh, we're too good?
All right,
Okay, keep
two
going.
more. All
Keep
right,
going.
we have some time. What brands, this is from Skating PT, what brands are the easiest to have tailored for menswear?
Well, the brands that are most successfully tailored tend to be the ones that are tailored well to begin with, and
Okay,
they tend to be a little
makes
more
sense.
expensive. You could certainly have things, cut down. What you'll find when you're trying on jackets, for instance, if the sleeves are really too short or you really need a lot more length, a lot of the sleeves are finished in such a way that you really can't let them down too much. So it's better to have, if you're a tall guy, go for a long size, than it is to try and get something altered too much in the arm. But really, if it's well made, it can be altered. Leather is usually the trickiest thing to have altered, because when you take the stitches out, all the holes are still there. So
I don't think it's not necessarily the brands or the clothing being easier to tailor. It's having a good tailor, and which is difficult. You have to go through a few tailors sometimes.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Universally, the men are saying that you need a good tailor,
Yeah.
so that's definitely the tip that
Start
we
with
got.
Yelp or something like that, and
Yelp or Angie's List is actually
your
probably a
friends.
really good place to. If you have a friend who is very well dressed and always really turned out well, ask them first about where they have their tailoring done.
That's right.
If you really don't have a clue and you need to start from scratch, one way is to go to a thrift store and buy a nice pair of wool pants, but inexpensive, something you're not going to spend a lot of money on, and take them to your dry cleaner, the one that's near you, the one that you use, and have them put a hem in them. Now, the key is on a wool pair of pants, when they're done, if you can't actually see the hem from the outside, then they've done a good job. So little by little, start giving them more and more complicated stuff, and you'll find out if they can do it or not, or if you have to look elsewhere.
Right.
Okay. Well, listen, I think that's all we have time for. We're getting the wrap-up side. I want to thank Verdine White, Michael Cioffoletti, and the ever-fabulous Julia Price for joining us today.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for joining us. This has been Luke Reichley for Secrets of the Red Carpet on emPOWERme.tv saying bye-bye.
Bye.